Our local labour market has drastically changed. Historically low birth rates have combined with an ever-increasing drawdown on our employee base from other regions, meaning local businesses are facing growing challenges in meeting their labour needs. If you're watching this video, you're most likely to appreciate something that the regular person on the street often doesn't really know. Yes, there are people looking for jobs, but there are far more jobs looking for people than there are people looking for jobs. Finding the right fit is becoming increasingly difficult, and it's now one of the leading issues that businesses are prioritizing when they're looking for support from governments and chambers of commerce. In response to this, all three levels of government are working on encouraging international workers to arrive here and call our region home, resulting in a huge burst of newcomers arriving at our shores and looking for work. But that means that businesses are now being thrust onto the front line of cultural integration, and for many, it's a brand new experience. So to help with this, here are our top 5 tips for recruiting culturally diverse talent. Tip number 1, make it a priority. If you're a business owner or recruiter, it's vital to get rid of the idea that creating an inclusive workforce is a nice to have or some kind of corporate goodwill gesture to the community. Starting right now, you have to accept that the ability to recruit, retain, and promote culturally different employees is a core work skill. This is your future workforce, pure and simple, and if you're not doing this effectively, you're going to start to see major holes appear in your ability to compete effectively. This can't be a side of the desk project. It has to be woven into every part of your strategic planning. Inclusive workplaces need to be part of your core work focus. Ask yourself this: do you have a diversity inclusion policy, a committee? If you do, how do you support and build on what you've started? And if not, where would you start? That's why the first part of making it a priority is do your research. There are lots of great research tools and books around, and the link with this video will list several of them. Personally, if you're going to be recruiting, retaining, and promoting culturally different employees, I feel you can't do better than this book, entitled Recruiting, Retaining, and Promoting Culturally Different Employees by Lionel Laroche. He's one of the most highly regarded trainers and writers in the field, and it's written for Canada based on his experience moving here from France and later coaching others on the subject of cultural competency. That's just on the culture side, and depending on what you're looking for, you may need to find out about things like sourcing workers who are currently living abroad. But regardless of which research source you're looking at, just understand that it's going to be quite new for most of you. And you'll not only need to factor in time to learn and hone this set of skills, but more importantly, you'll need to leverage your next tip, which is get support from the experts. The biggest mistake many employees make is thinking that they suddenly have to become experts on hiring internationally trained workers and creating inclusive workplaces. Nothing could be further from the truth. You've already got what you're great at. That's what your business does. So there's a vast network of organizations that already have the exact skill set that you're going to need to develop, and their only purpose is to share those skills with you and have you succeed. Every region in the province is supported by a local multicultural association that has specific training for companies looking to become more skilled with recruiting and working with culturally different employees. Many regions also have government departments and authorized employment support agencies that have programs to facilitate recruiting and developing international workers. Look at the links accompanying this video and find your local support and then use it. You're also going to have to decide who's going to run with the ball on this and who's going to need some additional support and training, which brings us to point 4. Understand who needs education. I'll start with this point. You're definitely going to have some areas of focus, but everybody in your organization will benefit from some sort of cross-cultural sensitivity training. Yes, even that guy, and even her, even though she just sits in an office and works all day on a screen. Even if you never hired a single newcomer, this would still be true regardless of what business you're in. That's because you deal with external partners all the time. Suppliers, government regulators, partner organizations, chambers of commerce, clients. Increasingly, all of these make up key stakeholders in your business and are going to have more and more newcomers making up their ranks, which means that virtually every level of your company is going to be dealing with newcomers as a core part of their job. So yes, start with the change makers in your organization, the leaders, the recruiters, the policy makers. Just understand that this is a whole organizational shift and therefore will need some kind of support for the whole organizational staff. Again, remember, you have organizations in your region whose skill is to provide the training and give them a call. But when you look at it like that, it can seem very overwhelming. So our final tip is start somewhere. This is going to be part of your work life now. Yes, it may be bigger than you imagine, but it's not going to go anywhere by avoiding it. If you keep operating the same way while your workforce is changing, you're going to get left behind. So instead, here are a couple of starter steps that you can try. Firstly, read the book I recommended or one of the links. Secondly, nominate a person to run with this as your lead organizational change champion. And thirdly, touch base with someone with your local multicultural association around training and support. But no matter where you start somewhere. The world has become your competition. It's time to make the world your workforce.